Hey there, I'm Kosala, a UK qualified. If you're a regular visitor to my channel, you would know what I do. But today, I'm not going to do an English lesson, but instead, I will talk about my struggle with obesity and type 2 diabetes. A friend at the gym encouraged me to do this because he told me after listening to my story that he was quite inspired by it. So here goes. In my younger days, I was quite chubby. Up until recently, I was very chubby. My friends used to call me Bada at school, which meant that I was one with a big tummy. I was quite prone to illnesses, the cold, the flu, infections, etc. You name it. I caught on to it quite quickly. Early in my career, I was not at home most of the time. I had all my meals outside, and my daily intake was carb-rich junk foods, and my weight gain was quite high. I had to change my clothes regularly because I was putting on. But I exercised a lot. But that didn't make much of a change. But during one time I went on a diet, then I went on a regime of strenuous exercises, which actually brought my weight down, but I was quite weak at that time. I was like shaking, and there were a lot of other complications. So I started stuffing myself with food. So I felt good, but my health wasn't doing so well. I remember somewhere in my early 30s, I wanted to apply for a health insurance, and quite a few insurance companies said that they need to jack up the insurance premium because my health indicators were so bad. And one company even went to the extent to say that I will not live beyond the age of 50. In 2010, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and I was put on medication. Even then, I was in denial. I was still taking my junk food and carb-rich foods, and even certain healthy diet regimes that were recommended to me included a lot of carbs in it. So I didn't really control my food even after being diagnosed. But I took my medication, and even then, every time I took a blood test, my blood sugar levels were pretty high. Later on, I had some lumps appearing on my back, which needed to be cut up and cleaned. So then I learned that it was because of my diabetes. It was a very painful. The doctor kept on increasing my dosage and sometimes even changing the medication to make sure that my blood sugar was under control. Suddenly, I found myself paralyzed in 2018. Waist down, I was paralyzed, and even my upper body had some problems. I couldn't feel temperature. Even if you poured some freezing cold water on my body, I didn't feel it. Even if some hot water spilled on me, I didn't notice it because my nerves were not functioning. Later on, after some tests and an MRI, they found that I had a tumor in my spine, in my thoracic spine, and that I had to undergo surgery to remove it. Thanks to my friends, I managed to get an appointment with this particular surgeon. He was very difficult to channel, so I had to go through personal contacts. So the surgeon looked at my reports and said that I had to undergo a 3-hour-long surgery. With my health issues, I wasn't sure whether I'll make it through the surgery. There was a risk of me being paralyzed all my life. In fact, the 3-hour surgery ended up being 6 hours, and only later did I learn that everyone was quite worried. Some have even thought that I had died. After the surgery, I was bedridden. I couldn't do anything. Because of this, I was mentally depressed, financially ruined now because I was not working, couldn't work, and I was spending for my treatment. Physically incapacitated, but thanks to my wife, my brother, and a friend of mine, I managed to keep myself above water. I wasn't about to give up. There were times I felt like committing suicide. I felt useless. But I didn't want to give in to my negative thoughts, and I decided to take one day at a time and face my challenges, and I was determined to pull through this. Every day I told myself, I will walk again. I will walk again. I had to undergo many months of physical therapy. I was admitted to the Ragama Rehabilitation Hospital. There I saw many who were in the same situation as me or worse. Whilst there, I was put on a wheelchair. A few weeks later, with the greatest of difficulty, I managed to stand on my own 2 feet. I was jubilant. For a while, but I still couldn't walk. Later on, they trained me on an adult walker. While I was at the hospital, all my other problems were piling up back home. So I decided to get myself discharged. Once I got back home, I continued my physical therapy at a private institute on a daily basis while attending to my other issues. Before too long, I managed to walk using crutches, and finally I managed to walk unaided. I started my career as a teacher in 1990 but moved on to other things later. But now, as I was physically weak and I needed to keep myself busy, I decided to get back into teaching. My diabetes was persistent like a shadow. I knew it will never leave me, and before too long, I knew it would take me. It was a losing battle, but I persisted. I remember twice I nearly fell down unconscious due to low blood sugar, due to the strength of the medication I was taking. The more medicine I took, the hungrier I got. The more I ate because I was hungry, the more obese I got. At the time, I weighed 100 kilograms and my waist was at 60 inches. One day, a neighbor told me about something called intermittent fasting. So I did some research online about it and its benefits. What is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting is a popular eating approach, which I don't know whether it's popular here in Sri Lanka, but in many other countries, it's a popular eating approach. It revolves around cycling between periods of fasting and eating. Unlike traditional diets focusing on specific food choices, intermittent fasting focuses on when you eat food rather than what you eat. During the fasting periods, you abstain from consuming any calories, but you can still enjoy water. Personally, during my fasting, I found solace in black coffee or plain tea without sugar and milk. For about 3 weeks of intermittent fasting, my body felt really good, less stressed. I lost about 2 to 3 kilos in about 3 weeks. And also I found out that I didn't need my diabetic medication as well because my blood sugar levels were becoming more and more stable. 3 months into intermittent fasting, I was able to do away with my diabetic medication, and I lost about 10 kilograms in 3 months. And then in about 1 year of fasting, I lost about 30 kilograms. But my target was somewhere between 55 kilograms to 60 kilograms of body weight. So what I did was I went into something called 1 meal a day fasting, which resulted with a total drop of body weight by about 43 kilograms. So I ended up at 57 kilograms from a weight of 100 kilograms, and I was totally off my diabetic medication, and it was saving me quite a lot of money because I was spending about 20 to 30,000 bucks on 20 to 30,000 rupees on medication every month. So during the fasting period, you can abstain from consuming any calories, but you can still enjoy tea or coffee without sugar or milk. Personally, during my fasting hours, I found solace in black coffee and plain tea without tea and sugar. Intermittent fasting has made me realize how wrong certain social norms have led us astray and made us unhealthy. There are many science-based articles contradicting our 3 meal a day or 3+ meals a day social norm. According to one article, the habit of having 3 meals a day was introduced to our cultures by the affluent Europeans who conquered us. The article appears on emetabolic.com, and I have given the link to this article in the description below. You can leisurely read it. Another article appearing on howstuffworks.com states that there is no biological necessity to have 3 meals a day. The link to it also appears in the description below. But we have been told from our younger days that we should eat 3 meals a day and that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. These beliefs are totally wrong and without any scientific base. When you intermittent fast, you are giving your body a rest from constantly processing food. This helps your body use its reserves, the stored fat, instead of glucose. When your body becomes deficient in glucose, it breaks down the stored fat to produce ketones, resulting with your body going into something called ketosis within about 12 hours of fasting. Ketones are a good alternate source of energy for your body and your brain. Ketones pair muscle protein for glucose, offering an alternate brain energy source when fats can't be used directly. They are vital for human survival during starvation, which means when you starve, body looks for nutrition, and to prevent it using or burning up muscles in your body, it burns fat to protect the proteins and the muscles in your body. Because you need the muscles now. For example, you need the muscles to go and find food. So the body knows this. So it protects your body and muscles. Instead, it breaks down the excess fat to provide energy for the body. These details appear in an article in the University of Alabama News in 2022. The link is given below in the description. You can leisurely go through that. When you intermittent fast, something called autophagy also takes place in your body. Autophagy means self-eating. When you are fasting, your body goes into survival mode to protect the body and muscles. It will break down old and damaged cells and use it as raw material to build new cells and repair the cells in your body. The core idea behind intermittent fasting is to grant your body ample time to rest from constant process of digesting food and to activate autophagy. This allows your liver a rest period. Therefore, you will feel less tired during the day. This brief respite from eating can potentially yield various health benefits, including improved metabolism and effective weight management. It's important to note that finding the right intermittent fasting schedule that aligns with your lifestyle and health goals. This will help you to live this lifestyle without a breakdown. Usually when people go on diets, within a short period of time, fatigue sets in and you fall back into your old habits and practices. The best diet to follow with intermittent fasting is the high-fat, high-protein diet, more or less the ketogenic diet. But when it came to me, I included a lot of non-starchy vegetables into my meal, which ensured that I get the required nutrients to my body. However, before embarking on any new eating pattern, it is advisable to consult with a healthcare professional like your doctor. They can help ensure that intermittent fasting is a safe and a suitable option for you based on your individual health needs. I also found another article about a research conducted at Johns Hopkins. The website is hopkinsmedicine.org, which says that human body has been naturally designed to withstand long periods without food. It says that humans were hunter-gatherers and they often had to endure prolonged periods without access to food. So if you want to learn more about this, the link is given in the description. You can leisurely go through that article as well. By understanding the historical context and the innate adaptability of our bodies, we can appreciate how intermittent fasting aligns with our biological makeup. It's a powerful approach that taps into evolutionary traits, offering a flexible, sustainable way to support our overall health and well-being. So how do we intermittent fast? Intermittent fasting is usually done by fasting for, let's say, 16 hours or 14 hours. Now, if you're fasting for 14 hours, then your eating window is 10. But if you're fasting for 16 hours, your eating window is 8. Within that eating window, you can have about 2 meals. And if you want to fast longer, you may have 1 meal a day, like I do. Now, for about 1.5 years, I've been on a 1 meal a day regime. And I've been quite fit. I have a lot of energy compared to when I was fat. And February this year, I started going to the gym also. So if you think that having 1 meal a day makes you weak, it does not. It does not make you weak by having just 1 meal a day. I do my work. I go to the gym every other day. I pump iron for about 2 hours a day, and I'm fitter than when I was in my 20s or in my 30s. I'm now 52 plus or 53, you can say. Some people fast for 36 hours. I also do it sometimes. Sometimes I do 72-hour fasts as well, once a month or once in 2 months. If you want to lose weight, you may need to skip the morning breakfast. There's a belief that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. It is not. It was a marketing slogan by a cereal manufacturer in the 19th century, and there was no scientific base behind it, but then it has become a norm today. It is not so. If you are somebody who can't do without the morning breakfast, I recommend that if you want to do intermittent fasting, then I recommend that you stop your meals 16 hours prior to having your breakfast. For example, if you have your breakfast every day at 8 o'clock, then stop your meals by 4 p.m. the previous day. So your eating window is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and after that, from 4 p.m. up until 8 o'clock the next day morning, you'll be fasting. And most of the time you'll be sleeping, right? If you go to bed maybe around 9 o'clock. So you won't feel whether you're hungry or not. Because when you're getting used to intermittent fasting, the first few days is a bit tough because your body needs to adjust and you will feel a little bit dizzy and all sorts of things. But as I said, if you gravitate towards a ketogenic diet, you will feel less hungrier. When I started intermittent fasting, I broke my fasting at 12 noon and finished taking my meals 8 p.m. every day. This allowed a 16-hour respite for my body. I have now, as I told you earlier, progressed onto an OMAD regime, 1 meal a day regime, where I take my food once every 24 hours. So let us look at some benefits of intermittent fasting. It offers a range of impressive benefits, such as fat and visceral fat burning. What is visceral fat? The fat around your tummy and the organs in that area, leading to a significant weight loss. And also it reduces insulin levels, because when you fast, your insulin levels drop. This allows fat burning. According to an article on ScienceDirect.com, on the evolutionary perspective of insulin and growth hormone in energy storage and lipid usage, it says In a contemporary world of abundant food supply, an imbalance in the insulin to growth hormone ratio contributes to obesity. What it means is that when there's too much food in your body, your insulin is spiked up, your body produces more and more insulin in order to stock or store that excess glucose in the form of fat in your cells. But when you're fasting, insulin goes down, the body secretes growth hormones. These growth hormones, to protect protein in your muscles, breaks down the fat in your body and making ketones as an alternative form of energy for your body and your brain. I will read what it says in this article. From an evolutionary standpoint, insulin promotes energy storage when food is plentiful, whereas growth hormone promotes lipid usage to protect proteins when food is scarce. The link to this article, which appears on sciencedirect.com, is given in the description below. You can leisurely read that. In another article in ENM, Endocrinology and Metabolism in 2021, it talks about its benefits on weight loss and insulin resistance and how it affects hormones like leptin, adiponectin, and how it shows promise against obesity, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular risks in preclinical and clinical studies. It also says it triggers favorable body changes such as lowered insulin for fat burning, increased human growth hormones for overall health, cell repair activation, and positive effects on longevity-linked genes. Studies back intermittent fasting's metabolic benefits, improving glucose, heart-brain function, and aiding weight loss. I know that some have concerns regarding intermittent fasting and its impact on muscle loss, ketosis, and the loss of electrolytes. But research suggests that intermittent fasting preserves muscle, promoting fat burning via human growth hormone secretion. This article further goes on to talk about hormones such as insulin, thyroid hormones, and glucocorticoids, frequently linked to clinical endocrinology. The link is given in the description for you to leisurely read. So let's look at these three hormones: insulin, thyroid hormones, glucocorticoids. Insulin is produced by the pancreas, is essential for regulating blood sugar levels and the metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. When you eat especially foods with carbohydrates, the blood sugar rises, prompting the pancreas to release more insulin. Insulin helps cells absorb glucose for energy storage. Insulin has vital functions including facilitating glucose uptake in cells, promoting glycogen synthesis, inhibiting gluconeogenesis, and aiding fat storage in adipose tissue. For people without diabetes, insulin maintains healthy blood sugar levels, allowing cells to function correctly. So what this says is, the more you eat, the more glucose that you put into your body in the form of carbohydrates. The pancreas is forced to produce insulin to force your cells to take up glucose in the form of fat. In healthy people, insulin helps to maintain blood sugar levels, allowing the cells to function normally. When you intermittent fast, the plasma insulin levels drop. For instance, they talk about a 72-hour fast which resulted in a 35% reduction in plasma insulin within a period of 24 hours. And it continued to decrease further when you fast. What is insulin sensitivity? Insulin sensitivity refers to how responsive your cells are to insulin. Insulin transports glucose into your cells, but if you are not insulin sensitive, you need more and more insulin to transport glucose into your cells. What happens when you are a diabetic? I'll explain this by taking a storage room as an example. When there's enough space in a storeroom, you can easily store whatever you want without much trouble. But what happens when the storeroom is full? You have to force some space inside the storeroom to make space for the stuff that you want to store. Insulin literally opens the doors to allow glucose and nutrients to enter your cells. Insulin converts glucose into fats and stores it in the cells. When the cells get saturated, they will refuse to accept any more glucose into it. To force open the cells and allow glucose in, the body will require more and more insulin. The pancreas will have to produce more and more insulin to ensure that the excess glucose gets absorbed into the cells. But after this, it will not be sufficient. This resistance to insulin is known as insulin resistance. When this happens, you will need an external infusion of insulin to ensure glucose absorption. When you consume many meals a day, the chances of developing insulin resistance is very high. Today, people are used to having 3 to 4 meals and sometimes even more. And they also snack, and they have tea, and they have sugary drinks in between. This contributes to insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes. Intermittent fasting also positively affects thyroid hormones. Thyroid hormones are made by the butterfly-shaped thyroid glands in your neck and are crucial for controlling metabolism, body functions. There are two types. One is referred to as T3, which is called triiodothyronine. The other one is T4, referred to as T4, which is thyroxine. T3 is the active type. T4 is maintained in the body as a backup. When you are short of T3, T4 gets converted into T3. These thyroid hormones are controlled by the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland in the brain. And these thyroid hormones affect the energy use in your body, the body temperature, the heart rate, the nervous system, and especially important for growing children. Imbalances can lead to many health issues. Thyroid hormones T3 and T4 are very useful to generate heat, burn fat in the body, and to boost energy use in muscles. Then the next hormone is called glucocorticoids, and we refer to this as cortisol in our bodies, and in mice we call it corticosterone. It's produced in the adrenal glands. This is used to break down big molecules, control insulin and blood sugar, and it has anti-inflammatory, and it has an impact on the heart as well. Intermittent fasting briefly raises cortisol, but the body adapts, stabilizing levels by using stored energy. Effects on cortisol differ due to stress, sleep, diet, and lifestyle. Fasting might even lower chronic stress, promoting better hormone balance according to this article. In an article published in the Journal of Clinical Investigation in 1988, which is again published in the National Center for Biotechnology Information of the US, they have studied growth hormone release over a 24-hour period in 6 healthy men. They did this on a normal eating day and during the first and the 5th day of a 5-day fast. They used 2 methods to analyze the data, one to spot the individual bursts and another to reveal fixed patterns of release. The results showed that during a 5-day fast, there were more bursts of growth hormones, around 10 bursts in a 24-hour period compared to 6 bursts during a normal eating period. And the overall amount of growth hormone released in a day was higher during fasting, and they also found that these bursts were much more stronger during fasting. This shows that body's fasting status affects how growth hormone is released. Fasting increases the number and strength of bursts, and this seems to be connected to changes in other substances in the body as well. These changes in growth hormone releases might help the body manage its resources better during the time of fasting or in a time of starvation. Intermittent fasting positively influences something called gene expression. Gene expression is like a recipe for making something in a cookbook. Genes are like the recipes in your DNA cookbook that provides instructions for creating different things in your body like proteins. Fasting induces beneficial changes in specific genes and molecules linked to longevity and disease prevention. These positive changes in gene expression contributes to improved overall health and well-being. research has been conducted into something called mammalian sirtuins, which help regulate cell metabolism during fasting. It also summarizes how fasting can have positive effects on cancer prevention and treatment. The research paper has been published in 2017. The link is given in the description. You can go through it later. What are these sirtuins? It's a protein family crucial in regulating various cellular processes. Enzymes within sirtuins, which are called deacetylases, modify protein activity by removing acetyl groups of chemical groups composed of 2 carbon atoms, 3 hydrogen atoms, and 1 oxygen atom, CH3CO, impacting gene expression, DNA repair, metabolism, and stress responses. One of the most notable sirtuins in this sirtuin family is called SIRT1. It is influenced by factors like calorie restriction and intermittent fasting, which activates them for potential health benefits. This article goes on to say that fasting protects cells and mice from metabolic issues and reduces cancer risks. They've done these tests in humans as well as in mice, and they've found that it may help reduce cancer risks. Fasting may also slow tumor growth and enhance cancer treatment effectiveness through sirtuin proteins like SIRT1 and SIRT3, improving insulin response, antioxidant defense, and cell resistance. Intermittent fasting promotes cellular repair and cleansing, removing waste materials from cells for healthy function and longevity. It also goes on to say, fasting leads to low energy and triggers autophagy, boosting growth hormones for tissue repair and cell health. Fasting reduces oxidative stress and inflammation, enhancing mitochondrial function and cellular health. It also says improved insulin sensitivity and better glucose management results from fasting, reducing high blood sugar risks. Fasting aids DNA repair, preserving genetic integrity. So in conclusion, we can see that intermittent fasting leads to significant changes in hormone levels, cellular functions, and gene expression, resulting in enhanced fat burning, weight loss, and numerous health benefits. However, it's essential to approach intermittent fasting based on individual needs and consult a healthcare professional for any health concerns. Thank you all for watching and spending your valuable time with me. Remember, I'm not a medical professional, but I'm living proof that lifestyle changes can have profound impact on your health. If you're struggling with diabetes or obesity, don't lose hope. Embrace a healthier lifestyle, do your research, and consult your doctor. Together, we can overcome adversities and lead fulfilling lives. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button to support my work. Stay safe, be healthy, and remember, transformation is within your reach. Goodbye.